All right, and welcome back to episode 020 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi, coming at you on May. Tax season's over, but it's never too early to start worrying about next year's taxes. I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but tax season is over. It's May the 14th in the year of our Lord 2024, episode 020. And the price of Bitcoin is $61,491. But it's Bitcoin.
One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, as I say.
One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, and one Bitcoin is worth 61,491 USD. We'll let that thing refresh in a second and get the block height. We're here in studio in the beautiful upstate of South Carolina. Nice weather. Mother's Day this week. Went and saw my mom. Did you get your mom something, PJ?
I got her some flowers.
That's right. I'm in studio with PJ.
Yeah, I got her a nice bouquet of flowers delivered to her.
Oh,
and a nice FaceTime call.
Oh, I mean, what's better? I went to Beaufort, South Carolina. Went to my dad's church, Community Bible Church.
That's a vibe.
Yeah. If you don't follow them, follow Search the Scriptures, my dad's radio program. He's getting with the times on his media outreach.
That's right.
Maybe because some of the people in this room, and maybe just because he's getting with the times, but Search the Scriptures on Instagram and X.
I heard a little story about you on one of his sermons.
Yeah, this week. Actually, let's make a little sausage right now. So he does this thing, where he has all these quotes, these things that he said over and over and over throughout the years.
Yeah.
And so 35 years of sermon listening, or 36, going on 36. My siblings, we all know them. So when we go to church, we wouldn't text during church. We're preachers' kids.
Right.
But if we did, we, like to say, oh, this is what he's about to say. So one of his lines is, do you have a Bible in hand? If you don't have your Bible in hand, you should get a Bible, because you'll get 50% more.
50%
out of every sermon if you have a Bible in hand. And if you forgot your Bible and you pull it up on your device, don't feel bad, but you should get a Bible, and then he'll give you one.
He's got the data.
Yeah. So, but a reel you need to make is he said, now who here has their Bible with them? I mean, but just hold that thing up in the air. Ooh. And so there's I don't know, 800 people. Maybe it was 1,000. I don't know. But everyone holds their Bible up. He's like, what a beautiful sight. Look at all those Bibles. And I'm sitting there totally focused on God's word, thinking that would be a great reel.
That would be a great reel.
And the audience.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So Search the Scriptures, potential sponsor.
Of the OK
Podcast.
Community Bible Church.
Yeah, it was great to be there for Mother's Day. Sat with my mom up in the nosebleeds. A Marine that I had strength trained before here in Greenville. When he came up and trained, he's from there. I said, hey, go to my dad's church. He went, and he was joining on Sunday by coincidence, because it's probably by God's sovereignty, but it was cool to be there for the day that he did that. So I went down and talked to him after, and then we went and ate tacos, and then hung out in the back porch of the Low Country. And it was a nice day. Usually down there, it's really high humidity. And it wasn't.
Well, I heard a little story about you when you were 7 years old and starting a cookie business. Yeah,
we're always doing businesses.
I was about to say, a little young entrepreneur Grant.
That's right. Oatmeal cookies, $2 a dozen. You go door to door. You're 7 years old with a bowl cut, blue eyes, and freckles. They can't afford not to buy the cookies.
No, he said you took your sister with him too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know the story that he told, but
just because you can't say no to two little kids.
Yeah, two little kids. I think we all did it though, but yeah, oatmeal cookies, $2 a dozen.
Nice.
If only we'd been selling protein bars back then, the Strength Co might even be bigger. But yeah, so 20 weeks in, we got a guest tonight. We'll get the guys on here shortly. Then we got a cool guest tonight. We'll save that for a few minutes from now, but let's see what's new.
What's new is you almost killed me today with the 5x5 squat.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Dude, I got it.
Well, that was a PR.
That was a PR. 5x5.
335, 330.
330.
330.
330 squat, 5x5. I spoke with Jesus a few times.
So what do you think is a more memorable PR? Memorable, significant. Do you think the 5x5, like the most you've done there, do you finish that and feel better? Or what's your top single? 370?
375.
375? Or is it just like, hey, I move the most weight, this is better?
I think the single is the most memorable.
Yeah.
Because that's like your real PR, like the most absolute weight you can lift. The 5x5 just feels like, oh, I made it. It doesn't feel like it feels like an accomplishment, but it's more like I survived versus like, oh, look how much strength I've gained.
I guess the body of work, like, so 375 is the display, the proof that you worked your 5x5s.
Right.
And it's the most weight on the bar. But even like when I test, or I've probably competed in probably around 10 powerlifting or strength lifting meets.
Oh, wow.
And you don't finish and feel like you had a good workout.
Well, no, that's because it's just what, 9
reps? Attempts, maybe. Well, I mean, if you made them all, but like, 9 attempts. But like when you do 330 5x5, like that.
Oh, you feel like you did something.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would say younger Grant, newer in training, would say, hey, whenever I lift the most weight, that's the most memorable.
Yeah.
But like, I remembered.
What's your 5x5 memory?
My 5x5 best is 430 or 435. I'd have to look back in the logbooks, but I remember doing 405 5x5.
Ooh, that's good.
And that was like kind of as exciting as 500 for one.
You know, now that you say that, I remember when I did 315 5x5.
Yeah, right. Like,
I do remember
the plates
that.
are always milestones. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I don't like to get people too down into the PR hole. Like, this is my PR without sleeves. You know, this is my PR.
My 3 rep, my 2 rep.
Like, I don't know. If you ask me what my 3 rep squat PR, bench PR, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I actually don't even know.
Yeah, the other day I did, you programmed me for 355 for 3 sets of 2.
This is on the squat.
On the squat. Yeah. And I was like, is this a PR? I feel like it might be if it's not as close.
Yeah. Well, so you're peaking.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Dude, that one.
Yeah.
That was the one. I mean, I'll try it, but that was one where I'm like, if I put 335 on there, like it's coin toss.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 335 by 5. I generally like to say, whatever your 5 RM is, this is a very big rule of thumb. Don't hold me to this, but whatever your 5 RM is in the squat and the deadlift, 10 more pounds per rep is your 1 RM, right?
5 rep PR for a 5x5 or just 5?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. So 330 by 5, I would say translates to 370. Quick math.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe 380. You've done 375. It checks out. I would say 335 by 5. Mm-hmm. It gives you at least another 10 pounds, 15. You're close to 400.
Dude.
But you can't try 400.
Why not?
It's like deadlifting 310.
Oh, yeah.
You can't ever, like, no one loads 400.
No. If you program me, I would refuse. If you program me for a single at 400, I just want to do it.
You'd rather just hit 405.
I'd rather fail 405 than get 400.
That's like when I deadlift, 495, which I do about once a quarter, maybe for a double or something. Everyone's like, oh, X, or why didn't you just add 5 pounds? I'm like, well, I don't care about the 2.5s. I mean, I care about them, but
also you've already hit it. You've already hit 500.
Yeah, that's probably true. True. But so training, if you need training help, we can help you on our Slack channel, $29 a month. We just launched a new program, 15 weeks. We do all the lifts, but it's a biased program towards the squat and the bench with the goal to PR those. I'm doing that with the group right now. So in that particular program, we have about 35 lifters, I think, doing that programming track. So if you want to come in, again, it's for intermediates. If you're new, you're going to get asked some questions. Hey, what's your lifting background? If you say, I've been listening to Rippito for 3 years, I've never lifted, I'm going to send you like 3 videos on how to start starting strength and tell you to go do that. But if you're actually strong and you have 1 RMs and you've trained and you've run that novice progression, we post the workouts in there weekly. It's pretty cool. I usually time lapse my workout, post it in there. People can see it. People might put their heaviest set so that we can take a look at it. It's cool. And so you can join along, and it kind of brings some a lot of guys are in their garage or in the YMCA by themselves, and they get to log on and see like, oh, Grant did this, and this is what he did it in. Or for example, there's a guy in there, Ragnar. I don't know exactly how you say his name. I know he knows Trey. They've trained together out in Texas. Another cool thing about Slack channel is you meet people and you meet up with them in real life. And I posted on there. So it's week 1. It's like, a bunch of triples. And the way to make it harder was, hey, if you can do it in 2 minutes rest, do it in 2 minutes rest. So I did it in 2 minutes rest. The whole workout took me
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So I did 375 for 4 sets of 3 on 2 minutes rest. And so then what'll happen? Well, because it makes it harder.
Yeah.
So it was 75% of your 1 RM.
Okay. So
it makes it harder without having more load on the bar, and it's going to build. And then as week to week, it'll say, okay, now go to 3 minutes rest. Now go to 4 minutes rest. It's intermediate stuff. Like it's not rocket science, but it's something to make it fun. So I did the whole workout in like, I think 49 minutes. And then, our buddy Radar posted like, hey, I did it in 29 minutes. I was like, too light. Your 1 RMs are off.
No way.
Like, you know, cause that's just blowing through it. I mean, good on them.
Is it 2 lifts?
It's 3 lifts. Yeah, it's 3 lifts on Mondays and Fridays, and I can't give away too much. People got to get behind the paywall.
Okay, that's true.
Get behind the
secret
paywall.
Sauce.
Use code OK. It still works. If you join the Slack channel and didn't use the code OK, sorry, you should have listened to the podcast sooner. Don't email me. I won't give you a deal. But if you're new and you're joining, use the code OK and you get $10 off. So you can join for $19, talk to GrantBot, learn how to warm up, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so starting a new program. We'll see how it goes. I got some travel coming up here in the next few months, but I'm going to try and run it. I haven't run like a strict program in a while. I've been just vibing. Yeah. I don't like to say the word maintenance, although it is maintenance, but you know, I go in and I, you know, do my heavy 5x5s. I do my intensity and I just like kind of keep
something hard.
Yeah. Exactly. Do something hard, but I haven't been running like a program. So, I mean, honestly, Monday's workout yesterday was kind of easy for me.
Mm-hmm. But that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to build over time. So I got to buckle down here, get through 16 weeks and hit some PRs. So if you haven't joined the Slack channel, join the Slack channel. All right. Anything else before we get these guys on here?
I feel like we're going to make a video on this, but I will say the other fun thing is check out Greg Doucette's channel. Grant got called out.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He's made it in the YouTube world. He's reached the upper echelons of YouTube fitness. Doucette.
I thought it was douchebag.
That's the French pronunciation.
Oh, that's the French pronunciation.
Yeah.
But I can say that since I led with the Bible stuff. You know, you get one pass.
You credit.
Douchebag. Yeah.
Well, this guy, he's a famous YouTuber. I'm looking now. He's got 2.07 million subscribers, an extremely high voice, which is fake, by the way.
Yeah.
And he reacted to Grant's clip talking about what it takes to bench 315, and he went hard.
Did he? I mean, I sent it? I watched the whole thing. So it got sent to me, like it came out, everyone sent it to me. I sent it to you. And then you told me it went hard, or he went hard. And then I watched it, and yes, he was like trying to go hard, but I don't feel like that he really disagreed. Like he definitely, he didn't like the fact that I said 225-pound bench is attainable for an adult male, which I think it is.
I'm a genetic
Yeah, you're a genetic freak. Look at you.
Dude, I deadlift 405 and bench 225, man.
Yeah, I disagreed with him a lot.
I feel like we owe it to YouTube to make a reaction to the reaction. So that'll be later.
Yeah, I guess. But man, like it was, yeah, go watch the video, give him some likes and views, comment. I love the Strength Co., the OK podcast. I just never really got what his point was, but yeah, he basically thought you're a genetic freak if you can bench 225. And I like that he honed in on the fact that I said, you know, I was asking you what your bench was, and like I said, you did that here at the gym, and you said, no, I did it at my parents. And he was like, see, he remembers exactly where he did it. I'm like, well, that's kind of like every PR.
Well, also he said that the average male, like 200 pounds, 5'9", is like some freak.
Does he not know that we live in the Western civilization of America where everyone's obese?
That's what I was saying. I was like, maybe for like, maybe in like the bodybuilding world, if you're 5'9", 200 and 10% body fat.
Well, he's clueless of, progressive overload.
Yeah.
So that's why this is so crazy to him. And he couldn't believe 4 to 6 months. It's like, yeah, if you go to the gym and you're following some muscle and fitness program and you're not actively adding weight to the bar, then I have no idea when you're going to hit 225. It might be 5 years from now, just like by chance.
It said it took him 13 years to hit 405 deadlift. Yeah. And he's strong, by the way.
Yeah. Is he?
He actually is.
Okay.
I think he hit like a 450 bench or something.
Big Greg. Wow. 450 bench. So he's stronger than me. So therefore smarter.
Therefore smarter.
Nothing I made made any sense.
All I know is that his video has like 118,000 views. and the original video of ours has 313,000 views.
Man. And per capita, per subscriber, we're crushing them.
Yeah.
Before we get these guys on here, the block height, just so you know that we're live when we're doing it, 843459.
We should start pricing Bitcoin in Strength Co 45s.
Hey, I'm about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure that out.
Let's get these guys on. Episode 020.
Wow.
Of the...
Okay.
Oh, now Trey.
Okay.
Okay. Guidons. Okay. We're basically a battalion here.
Nah.
Podcast powered by Strength Co, where we talk about everything you could imagine, from women's sports, make women's sports great again, to playoff hockey, to Marine Corps culture, to the Strength Co. I'm Grant. We got Trey on from Frisco, Texas. Big Jeff, Biggie, like Biggie Smalls, except spelt like Buege, Buege.
Buege.
Don't want to miss him on IG. Buege JP.
Yeah,
real active account from Utah. And PJ, we got a guest tonight we're excited about. But we got about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. So, Jeff, what's the in brief?
Oh,
you want to go for the first slide?
Get your earths ready.
Yeah, get your
I guess it's your earths ready. I saw Bruins are up 2-1 going into the third period. So Grant's probably on a good mood right now, but not in a good mood after those last
games, last two games were rough. Yeah, that interference call was rough. Bruins up going into the third. That's called the 2024 Bruins season. And every loss, they're up going into the third. Yeah, they just go in and drop a Gamecock, football style, not women's basketball style, and they lose. So Florida is the better team, in my opinion. And well, not in my opinion. Statistically, how they finished the season, they're the better team. So you had to get an edge. Like going out, winning game one in Florida was huge. And then dropping both in Boston. So now you're down 3-1. You got to beat them 4 times in a row. So I'm not optimistic, but this is Boston, baby. And we've seen it before. So, we haven't seen it with this team, but the Bruins are 0-25 when down 3-1.
The curse of the Bambino. So the way I see that is that they're due. They're due.
Yeah, exactly. They're due. Right? They're going to be 1-25 tonight.
That's right.
And then just build from there. But yeah.
Woof. Yeah, that interference call, it's like, it wasn't the biggest push in the world, but it's also like the guy's on skates. So like any push is probably going to throw him off balance. I don't know.
So I threw it out to in my Zoom class. I have a couple guys who are big hockey fans. Shout out Craig Robinson, works for Netflix, the biggest hockey fan. So I threw it out to him. I'm like, hey, I'm obviously very biased. I think this was interference, but I've been like filled with Bruins media for 3 days. And, it's been telling me this is the worst call in hockey history. You play hockey. He's like, we call that in the beer league. Are you kidding me? Of course that's interference. I was like, vindicated.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Covered. Push. We're on a time crunch. I'm trying to find some quick hitters.
Speaking of pushing, I'll give you this, Trey. You'll love this. So last week I was at a planning conference up at Fort Drum, upstate New York, for an exercise, and it's just great, right? Because like the exercise planners are all civilians, prior military, right? Yeah. So you go in to start the thing, and of course, like you can't. There's not like a easy way to collect everyone's names and emails before the conference. That's impossible. So everyone waiting this long line, all 60 people, SEAL Team 2, SEAL Team 1, DevGru guys, JTAX, we'll just all stand in this line and then all hand punch in our things. I was surprised there wasn't a green logbook, but anyway, so kind of inefficient. So then we sit down. Great planning conference. I will say the soft guys, which Jeff's basically a special operations person, but the soft guys, they know how to plan, right? Like they know how to like do those things. So the thing went great, but the exercise planner starts out and he's like, hey, so real quick, let me get first slide, put the first slide up. I was like, oh, it's like the OK podcast. So the slide comes up with the agenda. He's like, yeah, so 09, well, it's 0915, took a little while to sign in. I know we got there till 1600. But I think a lot of this could be sidebar conversations that we could do. So it'd probably be like 1,400. But if you guys just want to push through Chow, we could probably finish around noon. What does everyone want to do? And there's like
Air Force guys there.
There's F-35 guys. There's like all these like high speed air assets, whatever. And everyone's like, push. And I was like, wow, this is like
universal.
This is universal. Like you could have Lance
Have you ever heard anybody given that option to be like, nah, don't push. Let's take Chow.
Yeah, I need Chow. I need a break.
I want this to go to 1,700.
Yeah.
Can we make it longer? How do we drag this out?
No push. Let's take all the breaks.
Oh man,
dude, that's good.
Quick hitters.
Things.
Anyone see Caitlyn Clark score her first hoop?
No. Was it on TV?
Well, do I have a beef to pick with the city of Greenville?
Oh my gosh.
So I finished up.
It was not.
Well, no, it was. I was on a call. I finished the call. Game was starting. I'm like, Jordy will be over here in an hour. I'm like, D, let's walk down and watch the game at this like sports bar, giant TV. They always have the biggest game on. So I go in, I turn the corner and I'm like, I don't hear hockey. It's 7:05. I should be hearing like ice and pucks hitting the boards. Like what's happening? And I turn the corner and they have the pregame for Caitlyn Clark's first WNBA game. And then like inside on a small TV, they have Bruins Panthers.
So you were upset by this?
Well, I said I created this monster. This is my fault.
This is a direct result of the OK podcast.
You blew her up.
At least show the game that's being played right now.
Caitlyn Clark would be nothing without Graham.
You made your bed, man. You made your bed.
Yeah. So I was a little upset, but yeah, it was televised. I think
I made her.
Do you know what channel it was on?
Me? Oh, I got no clue, dude.
It was on a weird channel, but they had it up.
Was it Oprah's network?
Yeah,
probably.
It was Oprah's network.
Was it OWN network?
Yeah.
OWN, yeah.
I think it was on Truth Social live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah.
We're live on
Progressive.
Super legitimate.
Yeah.
We're live on Rumble.
Everything was true. Next slide.
Love that. Trey, you're excited for the NCAA football 25 game, even though you're not a video game guy, apparently. Tell us about that.
Oh, did that sin? I didn't know that sin. Saved the draft. Yeah. No, I guess, I don't know. I quit playing video games like in 7th grade.
Smart move.
Yeah.
But tell me the odds that you start again.
I don't know, man. This NCAA football might bring me back in. It pulls me back in. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of excited with all the players getting paid. I don't know. Maybe not that excited.
I think there's a lot of people that are excited though.
I think, dude, the fact that it's coming back, I know a ton of people are they have a huge cult following with it. And so
I have probably played hundreds of hours of that game.
NCAA.
Oh my gosh.
What year?
Dude, I remember having the one with like Charles Woodson on the cover. It was like NCAA football, like 99 or 2000 or something like that. Dude, I feel like 99
was a good year for those games because I remember NHL 99. I spent hours, and then remember Triple Play.
A ton of. Oh yeah,
Triple Play 99. Maybe just being 11 matters a lot.
Maybe
I played a ton of FIFA 98. With Blur Song 2 as like the intro.
Great song.
Good song. Yeah. I got my head shaved.
Yeah. Also NFL 95 with Madden or Madden 95. Madden 95.
Yeah. On what system?
So we played the computer versions. Wow. We had like a Hewlett Packard because we weren't allowed to have gaming devices.
PC gamer.
Yeah. The first game I remember playing ever was called Mad Dog. And I remember my dad and older brothers playing it. And I'm probably like 5. And it's in my dad's study on his HP 486 computer. And you have the cursor and it's like, choose your guide. And it's like an Indian, like a saloon woman looking lady or like a cowboy. And you click the guide. And so each way is like a different path. And you're hunting for this guy, Mad Dog. You're a bounty hunter.
It sounds like Oregon Trail.
No, Oregon Trail is way slower. That's the Christian version. This is the Rebels version.
The heathen.
Yeah, that's the game. Yeah, that's the game. And so you just like it like shows a field, and you have the cursor, and you're just waiting for people to pop up, and then you click them, and it shoots them. Great game. Yeah, my mom was upset.
I remember Oregon Trail.
Too violent for Grant.
For Grant wouldn't know this, but like you would play like in class, and you would like have all your friends' names. Yeah, it's like, Steve died of dysentery. And then you would just like, you'd like go hunting, and then like all your meat would spoil because I had just like all meat. I'm like,
you would just kill 100 buffalo, and he'd be like, you can only take back 12 pounds.
I'm not foraging. We're strict carnivore on this Oregon Trail.
Do you want to forge the river? Yes.
Yes, always. I'm too cheap to take the ferry.
You lost 4 cattle.
PJ, what year were you born?
93.
93. Okay. So you probably remember like not being on the internet at the same time that the phone's on.
Oh, I barely made the cut. I remember going over, hanging out with my dad, and he'd be like, wait, hold on. I got to take a phone call.
Yeah. You gotta get on the internet.
You got to get kicked off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Juno. My parents had Juno. That was their first internet.
Wow.
I think you're talking about the movie.
We had.
I remember Juno. Yeah.
Prodigy was our like internet provider. I remember. Yeah. Like, and I still remember the password. Like it was like the like thing would pop up, and I'm not going to say it because I still use that same password.
696969.
It's the basis for all of my passwords till
that's the best.
This is the cornerstone.
One of those guys.
Jeff is number one.
My dad's passwords all have something to do with 777, just to make sure they know he's a preacher.
Yeah. Makes it the computers.
Yeah, the computers.
They're like,
he's a preacher.
That's how he witnesses in binary. All right, let's get this guest on. He's in the waiting room.
Do it.
Get him in. This is the International Man of Mystery.
This is wow.
Let's see. Wow. We got a comm check.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Licking chicken, man.
Sweet. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Nothing, man.
Lance Captain, SMCR, an Instagram anon. Welcome to the show. Grant over here. Trey, why don't you wave real quick? So yeah, there's Big Trey and Jeff.
Hey.
And PJ over here with me. And Jeff and I have kind of followed your account for a while, and we'll probably have some comments and questions about it. But these two other nerds, for some reason, don't like meme accounts that make fun of base X's.
I just got an Instagram like a week ago. So,
man, so your life got way worse.
Yeah,
way worse.
Basically.
So, when did you start the account? Because I want to say I was definitely following around 2020 when everyone was just on their phones all the time. But you were, I think you were before that,
earlier than that.
Yeah, it was spring 2019 is when we really started. And so funny enough, Andy Herbert was one of the guys that I know he was on one of your last episodes. He was one of the guys that I would brainstorm with and just be like, we'd send stuff back and forth. And he'd be like, this is funny, but I'm tired of you texting this to me. Put it on a page so I could share it with people or whatever. So it just kind of became organically like that. And in the first few months, we were just roasting the PAO on Camp Lejeune. So whoever that was at the time, I'm sorry. Or
no apologies.
Well deserved. Yeah.
I'm not sorry at all. He's probably like in a nursing home at like 30 years old now, just because he would just get. I remember when we started it had snowed, maybe like half an inch of snow. And I go on the Facebook page for Camp Lejeune, and the PAO posted like, hey, these different buildings on base are closed or whatever. And within a few minutes, there were like 150 comments from spouses on base that were like, like super specific questions. Like, is my son's JROTC drill meet canceled at building 112 or whatever?
Yes.
And like hundreds of them. Like, is my husband's TRS canceled? All this stuff. And so we were just kind of roasting the PAO for a while, and then it kind of grew out of that, but really cathartic for us at the time with everything that was going on. And then it just kind of built from there. Okay.
And how did you select the name?
I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it's Lance Captain USMCR, right?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is I had used that on a comment one time from my personal page, and it got a lot of Cold War vets really mad because it's not a rank.
Right.
And so they would comment like basically like telling me I was stolen valor, like that I was claiming to be a rank that didn't exist.
Old war vets.
And I enjoyed that way too much, so I had to make it official.
Yeah, no, that's great. And for the non-military kind of listeners, Lance Corporal is kind of a notorious rank in the Marine Corps. You serve for 4 years. If you do a good job, you probably make a non-commissioned officer, the rank of corporal. If you get in trouble, maybe you made it to corporal, you get busted back down to Lance Corporal. Or if you're just a total turd, like a walking turd, then you never get promoted to corporal because you need to do like some stupid online class that'll take you 2 hours, but you refuse to do it because you want to be cross rifles. And so
probably my favorite rank by far.
Yeah. It's a play 100%. On that, Lance Captain.
The most entertaining. Yeah.
Okay. So you started spring at 19, and then I will say this. I started my account, the Strength Co, in 2016. I've worked it really hard. And I'm at, 31,000 followers, which I'm very proud of. Because that's how life is valued. How many followers you have? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but no, right. I look at your page and you're like 80,000, right?
70, like mid 70s. So
mid 70s.
I will say though, I think yours is more impressive scale wise because you actually post real things about like
maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
Things that matter.
Things converted to a meme account.
Maybe. Yeah. Things that matter, like business things, and providing for yourself and creating things that people will actually use in their actual lives. Mine is just very much lowest common denominator, cheap humor that people like. So
I love
give the people what they want.
Don't sell yourself short. Yeah. Don't sell yourself short, man. 30 is admirable.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. It's great. It's just, yours is huge. Do you know the account Massonomics?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to them today, and Tanner is a former MLRS crewman, whatever that is, 18 Bravo in the Army. And I said, he was asking me, they have a podcast pretty big. They've been doing it for like, I don't know, they're like on episode 500. So however long that is. And I said, yeah, we got a guest tonight. It's like a military meme page. He's like, oh, what's it called? I was like, LanceCaptainUSMCR. He's like, he just liked one of our things today. And
yeah, maybe I did.
Yeah. And I was like, he's like, I think, and I was like, I bet he liked the one. And they posted a meme of like a plane with, the back of it, like a C-17 or something opened up. And so it's like huge. And then there's like a little vehicle like coming out, and it's like me at my powerlifting meet, and the plane, it says my squat. And then like the little tiny vehicle says my bench. And I was like, that checks
sounds
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah. It checks out that I have a tiny bench. Yeah. That's definitely accurate. Yeah. Absolutely.
Relatable content.
So
100%. Yeah.
I am interested in that. You lift, right?
Yeah. I know it might not look like it. You guys can see me now. But yeah, I do. I have the garage gym thing going. I'm saving up some money for some strength co plates, but
there you go.
Nice. I'm on the Facebook marketplace.
We all are.
Yeah. We're working on.
You'll get them in 25 years.
Yeah, that's right. Waiting for my Christmas bonus, and then I'll stop.
Well, Trey, why don't you hit him with an amateur lifting question? See how his lifts are.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what program, like you said you're kind of running, are you running a particular program, or you running just you're just doing it because you enjoy it, just random stuff, or what?
Yeah, I'd say now it's really more just enjoyability of it. Are you guys familiar with Cody Lefevre?
Grandpa is.
If anyone is, it'd be PJ.
Oh, okay.
So he was, I don't know what he did in the Marine Corps. I think he got out as like a sergeant back in the day. It's been a while, but he's a trainer now, and he's pretty big on Reddit. Don't ever go on Reddit, but I stumbled upon it one time before I quickly left Reddit, just, for my own health. But he put out some good templates as far as like really just general gains that it's kind of like your standard, like linear progression, progressive overload type stuff, but very much like with a long view. I mean, I started working like lifting really when I was 16, 17. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've done pretty much every major template in some form or some fashion. And I don't really have like a favorite. And that's probably to my detriment, is like, I do have the tendency to like program hop a little bit. Just, I don't know if that's ADD in the gym or whatever. But I'd say over the last couple of years, especially since I got out and I don't have to run 3 miles anymore. It's
amen, brother.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good living. It's good living. And then you wake up and you're like, oh shoot, maybe I should run a couple times a month. But eventually,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, really more so now for me, it's like a major compound lift Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'll hit squats Monday, bench or overhead press Tuesday, and then the opposite of that, deadlift and bench or overhead press.
And then you're trying to add some weight every time.
Yeah, and generally it's add 5 if I can, and then various rep ranges. Right now, for the last few months, I've just been trying to push my 6 rep maxes. Super random, super arbitratory, but
based,
really
very based. 6. I get it.
Yeah, my main. I don't want to say struggle. My main focus in the last few months, especially with young kids at home and family stuff, is just getting the nutrition piece dialed in, because I feel like my lifts have been solid for years and years and years. Like I'm still steadily progressing. I'm not breaking any records or anything like that, but nutrition is the thing that consistently sabotages me.
Like not eating enough.
Oh no, eating plenty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really more so just like, I don't know, not relying on the supplementation or relying on, having to do like a super dramatic fast or to get my calories under a certain amount, but like just trying to getting in some habits of like not eating things that I love. And it's kind of hard to explain while not giving too many details, but I work at a place that is very generous with the benefits they give us as far as
we get it, man. Special Operations Forces. We understand. We get it.
Oh, no. It's, I wish I could say the name of where I work, because you guys, it's so hard.
We can bleep it out. We can bleep it out.
Can you actually bleep it out?
Yeah. We're going to cover you. We're going to cover you in post. Perfect. All that stuff.
I work at
nice.
The NSA. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Whoa.
And the Delta.
I picked up where Edward Snowden left off before.
Nice.
Yes.
So working there, it's extremely, I mean, we have a massive like corporate gym. The whole bottom floor is a massive corporate gym. And it's like, I mean, we have 3,000 people that work there, and there's like 3 of us in that thing. And so
that's awesome.
Wow.
It's just not in the culture. And, based on what I just told you, like, it's got to be hard to not indulge in that kind of stuff all the time. So I mean, I'm probably one of the healthier people there, but it's just tough. And so just the temptations of being in that world. And I think anyone that's gotten out of the military can attest, like, when you're not moving around all the time for work, it's just natural. It just kind of creeps up on you where you're
100%.
Even if you're not like fat, you just feel less healthy. You feel like you need to be more intentional about doing these things.
I gotta pull a little rank on you as a major. Hey, Lance Captain, change the culture. Just change the culture.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it.
I guess
that's my intent.
Amateur lifting question. So someone who recently just added to their household, what's a
congratulations,
good?
By the way.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. How do you kind of balance like lifting, especially with young? I'm not sure how old your kids are, if they're super young or kind of
the oldest is 7, and then they go down from there.
Okay.
How many do you have?
I have 3.
Okay.
So at least one's kind of taking care of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah. There you go. But I don't know. Like, how did you balance that? Did you balance that?
I think so. I have the 2 perspectives. When I was active duty, you could just work out at lunch, and like, you're going to be gone anyway. So you might as well just work out while you're there. Sometimes 2 a days, depending on your job. Once I got out, I was like, all right, any time that I spend outside of the house working out, it's going to take away from something.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I have it figured out, and that was part of the garage gym decision, was I didn't have a gym that was close enough for me to like sneak out before the kids wake up, work out, and then come back in time for work. So I was like, I'm either going to have to do it during work or, build something out at my house. So that's kind of the beautiful thing with kids now, is that they can be a part of that time. And I think going into that, like, if you're like, I'm going to stock up my garage gym so that my kids can be a part of this. So every morning I usually get up, my kids are super early risers. So I get up with them at like 5:30, and then I'll work out for like an hour. Usually it's very generous rest time. So I will say that. So it's not all,
nice.
I'm not lifting for that full hour. Yeah. But it's cool because I see them. I mean, they started to kind of involve themselves sort of like they hang from the bars and they'll try to lift, small little weights and stuff like that. But I see them kind of having an eye for that more and more over the years. And so I think that's something that if you can swing it, it's pretty cool. That was something we were fortunate. Like when the whole COVID thing happened and they were sending us stimulus checks, I was like, I didn't ask for this, but I guess I'll just buy a bunch of squat racks and weights and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
And then I bought like a $30 rusty Airdyne off eBay down the street. I had to go pick it up from like a crack house, but it's like, I mean, it's so loud when you move it, but I slowly pieced it together. And so I think that's something. So my wife stays home, and then I travel not a lot, but I'd say, fairly frequently for work. And so when I'm home, I'm like, I don't want to be more of a burden on her and be like, hey, I'm going to the gym for, 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's been cool to try to incorporate them into that. It can definitely lower your intensity when you're like gearing up for like, your top end set and your son wants to hear Paw Patrol. You're like, all right, I'll put it on then and just take a couple more minutes of rest.
Baby
but it's cool.
Shark, boom, boom, doom, doom,
yeah, man.
Baby
yeah.
shark.
I mean,
are you familiar with that song?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
It's going to be his ad read music.
Yeah.
It is fun though. Like, I think it's cool to make that sort of a family thing. And I hope that when they get older, that's just normal for them. Yeah. Even if it's not powerlifting, like, but they're like, this is just part of the daily routine, whatever that looks like for them. I hope that becomes normal.
So you got out, and I don't want to give too many details about your service so people can figure out who you are, but you got out, you obviously already had children, right? But I assume maybe the third one was born after you were out.
That's right.
So Trey's here with, how old are the girls?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. So like, did you ever miss a beat? Like, obviously, yes, maybe, hey, I only have 30 minutes, but do you feel like, because I'm curious, we're expecting in October. I'm super excited. I've always like kind of clowned on guys that have a kid and just stop working out, but I've never experienced it. I got no skin in the game, but I'm just like, hey, like you can do something, like go in there and just squat 80%, 3 sets of 5. It'll be better than nothing. That's what I call like not missing a beat. Would you say like you were able to just like keep it going, or was it like, oh man, child 3, like I didn't lift for 3 months?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Like, I think guys that say, I just don't have the time, like that kind of stuff, I think that can be a cop out. Yeah, I think you can find a time. But again, for me, because it was in my garage, that was actually a time that my wife would come to look forward to, because I'd be like, hey, big kids that are bothering mom, come with me. Oh, nice. And we'll go do something. And even if you don't have a gym in your house, I mean, put them in the jogging stroller, put a weight vest on. Yeah. Go walk. They love that. The kids love that kind of stuff. So I think it's just, you might have to get creative. It might not be your pre-workout in the car for 30 minutes scrolling and then 2-hour session and then, do your mobility while hanging out with your friends. Like, it's probably not going to be that, especially with newborns, but it can be more fun if you get creative with it.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, you followed the account for a long time. You probably have some things you want to dig in on.
One, want to say like need to see more jabs at Anglico. I was at Anglico for 4 years. Just roast Anglico. It's a good unit to be at, but it's also like
super easy.
Totally like warrants all of the hate and like the poke fun at. So I love that content.
So funny thing about that, my brother-in-law is actually there. He's been there for a few years. So my wife's brother.
Okay.
So when he first got assigned to them, it was like a weird eye contact. Like, I was like, you're not like mad, or are you? Like, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. And he has a great sense of humor. So he was cool about it. But
that's good. Love that stuff. And then another just kind of question. So like, as you've now like been on the civilian side, has it been harder to like get creative with the memes, that you're kind of now like a little more distance from the day-to-day stuff where like, walking around base, like, or you're just like the offices, like, there's probably something every day that you see, you're like, oh, I can make a meme out of that. But now, has it been tougher?
Yeah, it definitely has, as far as like the ones I used to make, because it used to be, you'd sit through a staff meeting and you'd have like 25 ideas just based on Marines speaking. You're like, this is, and then when you get out and you think of the things that were said, you're like, there's no way that was real life. But
it hasn't changed. Just update. It hasn't changed.
Exactly. But the general themes are the same, man. Like I said, I travel usually weekly for like a day or two. And I mean, another great place for me making the airport, dude, like people you see at the airport, and everyone's thinking the same thing. There's like general trends that run through any community, whether it's the military, corporate America, things like that. something I tried to be purposeful with was like, I don't ever want to force it. So like if I'm trying to make a post or whatever, I don't want to have to be like, how do I make this meme for today? It's not in my head. I'll just, skip a couple days. Yeah. The ones that come naturally just through experience, I think are better. And I'm sure, Grant doing social media content stuff, you can probably attest to that. It's just
like a treadmill. You get on it. Yeah. You can't get off.
Grant Star Wars memes.
Hey, that one did well. The Star Wars meme. Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Your one today about the weight plates was pretty good.
Yeah. So there's a guy that works with us named Connor, and his brain's wired like yours. My brain's like, hey, how can I help people as they're going into the gym today? But like that doesn't always hit. And he'll just send me a meme and I'm like, this is so stupid. Like what he's like, just post it, say this. And then they always hit every time they hit. So he gets it.
That's the kind of the disappointing thing about social media is you have people that you have like doctors and PhDs that put out like the most useful, incredible information on planet Earth.
No one cares.
It's like 3.5 likes, 0 shares. And then you put out some stupid meme and it's like 14 million views. You're like, this is unbelievable.
What is your best of all time?
The one about born too early to deploy to the Middle East, born too late to deploy to the Middle East, or just in time. I think there was a lot of like angry liking on that one.
Yeah.
Like my dad was in Gulf 1. I was in Ramadi. Now my son's going to go, God, whatever it is. A lot of the comments, I was like, well, this is getting pretty dark. We might have to chill out on this one a bit.
My favorite too, and I don't know if you recycle, but my favorite too is like one, anytime you post anything about a base X, like Jeff and I just send it back and forth to each other. So let me explain to PJ, maybe some lifters. So like when you go to the field for out to train, there's like tents that are set up and there's like different sizes. There's like a 303 and 803. And they're like, it's like you push these two rods together and the little button pops out. And so you have Marines that like set up the base X, but there's always like one piece that's broken. It's like you can't get it. And then you have to order it. And it's like all this money and it's back ordered. And like you had a whole bit on like base X service repair guys. I was like in tears.
Dude, I was dying read those.
That's the most underpaid guy in the world. And it would always be like some guy would come out to the field and he'd be like, all right, everybody huddle up around me. And everyone's looking at each other like, come on, man. And they huddle up on this dude and he starts talking about, I'm a retired gunnery sergeant. Everyone's like, no. And then he talks about how user-friendly the tent is, which is why you need a 1-hour instruction on how to set up the tent.
Because it's so user-friendly.
And there's always broken poles and broken, all stakes and all kinds of stuff, man. It's funny now too, because when I showed up where I work now, there's a lot of events. So like, I'm always thinking like, all right, we're going to help set up this event. We're hosting other people. It's all third party. It's all paid for. I'm like, this is the life, dude. I belong here.
Yep. This is where it's at. Yeah. That one, those, and then your 31st Mew roast was hilarious because
so I did my first 3 years on the 31st Mew permanent personnel.
Nice.
So I got plenty of those.
Yeah. What is that video game? I'm not a gamer. I'm not really a sci-fi guy where like, so you have like USA and Taiwan flags, like beating up China. And then
I don't know what game that is.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know what game that is, but man, that was my first tour as a lieutenant. Was in Okinawa. And so that's actually when Andy was out there, he talked about it on that episode quite a bit.
Yeah.
He actually we went home to the States for our daughter had just been born or something like that. But he actually babysat our dog out there. So Andy was chilling in the middle of Okinawa at our house while he was out there. It's quite a story. But yeah, it's there's so much material there, especially too, because you get a new infantry battalion every, however often they rotate. And so the material is just endless, but that was a great place to be a young lieutenant and learn the job and just learn how to be an officer, I guess, because you're constantly embarking and getting off and going to all kinds of different places. So cool experience. Would never want to do it again, but
you weren't artillery, were you?
No.
Okay. Got it. Right.
No, I tried and they turned me down. I wasn't manly enough.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You couldn't press 115 for 3 reps overhead.
That's right. I was close.
Yeah,
artillery selection is brutal. Yeah, it's really long.
You want to be infantry? And we just said no. Yeah, here, be artillery.
Wow.
PJ, what question you got for Lance Captain?
All right, I got an amateur lifting question and I got a meme question. Yeah. So the amateur lifting question is you're getting back, you're doing the program, you're doing a lot of lifting, and you mentioned, hey, I don't have to run 3 miles anymore. That's a great thing, but maybe I should be running. When you start running again, like what would you consider, like you're not trying to hit world records here, but like what's like a good mile time that you go, hey, if I can run a mile in this time, like I feel like I'm all right?
That's a great question. I think probably outside of the Marine Corps, like I think probably 7 minutes pretty good.
Ooh. Okay.
Like I think you could probably like make yourself throw up and run like a 6:15 if you haven't run in a long, long time. But I think just like general, while still looking somewhat composed and dignified, probably like 7.
7. That's solid. That's
way faster than we said.
I was thinking like 8.
I was gonna say that's good in the Marine Corps.
Well, you're not making me do it right now. So maybe
talk is cheap. Yeah.
Well, no, we the reason he's asking that is tomorrow we're releasing a video on like what's a respectable 1 mile time, and it's funny, right? So like I'm relatively strong compared to the average person, but I still have to do the Marine PFT and the reserves, and so I go out and do it this year, and I max out the first 2 events, and I go run the 3 mile time, and I run a 24:02, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm like, man, 8-minute miles, 3 miles. This is fantastic. Like by Marine Corps standards, it's like 60 out of 100 points. Like it's like terrible. And so we were talking about it and he was like, well, what do you think is like for your lifters, the people that you coach? And I was like, well, I don't care if you're a power lifter or whatever. Like, I think you need to be able to go and run a mile in less than 10 minutes. Which is generous, right? Like 10 minutes, like, but like if you squat 500 pounds, but you can't run 1 mile in under 10 minutes, I think like your training's a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
It's not balanced.
A lot of the advice I've read just over the years is like, once you get out of the military, cardio is not like, you're not obviously not running for your job with the time. It's like, it's actually for your heart. You don't want your heart to pop. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually, I think, a better way to look at it. Like, it's also makes you somewhat healthy as much as we hate it.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What's the meme question?
So the meme question is, you've been doing this, you've been killing the game. Talk about what have you learned over time? Like, hey, I started out just making some memes, made a couple bangers, and then you learned like, oh, I know I got to do it like this, or I got to do it like that, or this seems to work better for meme accounts.
Yeah, I think I'll start with a serious note. I think what I learned quickly was that a lot of guys just want somebody to talk to, and the humor can be a way to break down that wall. Like when you're a lieutenant or a company commander or whatever, like your role is not to be the funny guy. It's just not like, that's not the role.
Right.
But I think when people see something online, they're like, oh, that's funny. That kind of breaks down a wall. And then people will send me messages. People have no idea who I am. My incredibly underwhelming military career. They don't know where I work now, but they'll send me stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is stuff that I wouldn't tell like my closest friends. And I think a lot of guys just need that person to listen, whether they know who that is or not. And so totally. And just like, I mean, I've had guys legitimately like on the edge of losing it. I'm like, dude, you need to pick up the phone and call me because it's concerning. I mean, that doesn't happen often, but it's happened before.
Sure.
And I think people are, especially in this day and age where it's like, you can feel like that phone is community. But then when something goes wrong, you realize it's not, it's all very, I don't know. It's so digital, like digital is no replacement for face-to-face contact. So that's been interesting. And it's something that I try to get that, not because I don't care, but like, it's just not sustainable to talk to dudes as an anonymous person. I'm like, hey, you need to go talk to this person. Like, let me help you get set up with this person or a pastor or your chaplain or, someone in your command that cares. Because a faceless person is not the answer. I mean, I can help you in the moment, but it won't last.
Sure.
On a less serious note, I think another thing I've noticed is that we all have had very similar experiences. And I think that that's what makes, especially the Marine Corps, the military as a whole, but especially something as cultish and tight knit as the Marine Corps, the way that it is. Like, I'll post something that I just think, like, I don't really care. I'm not trying to post to get like max engagement. A lot of times it does, but I think that's just because it resonates with people. But I'm like, man, I'm the only one that's thought of this, but maybe 2 people will understand. And then like you see comments and they're like, everyone had the same exact experience, no matter where you were. There are probably different shades of that, but I think that's something that's really cool about that community. And I think that's something that guys are looking for. Again, in today's day and age, like, people need to feel like they're part of something that, I mean, for me, whenever I was miserable, if I just had good friends near me, that really made it a lot easier. And it made me able to laugh about things and get through hard times or whatever. And I think there's some degree of that in the military meme world. Like, it's something that we've all experienced, something we can all laugh about. And it kind of brings humor to a world that can be a little bit stiff or a little bit tough sometimes. So that would probably be the other thing, is just like, we've all been through the same stuff. There are universal experiences for anyone in different communities. And I think that's true of weightlifting too. Like, I follow subpar lifting memes. You guys follow yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, the stuff he says, I'm like, he's pretty into like the lifting competition world, which I don't compete or anything. But the stuff that he posts, I'm just like, this is so true, even as someone that just recreationally works out. So I think it's just some people's brain, like, everyone has gifts, the way their brain works. I think one of the ways my brain works is just noticing trends of places I'm at, like seeing ridiculous things that are present in the Marine Corps or corporate America. Whereas for him, he sees that in weightlifting, and most of us can relate to those different things in crazy ways, even though we've never met, we've never even lived in the same place. So I think that's pretty cool.
Right. Well, yeah, humor is a good way to tell the truth sometimes. It's kind of makes it go down better.
Like the Tom Brady roast.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're like the Dilbert of the Marine Corps. You're just noticing ridiculous things.
Dilbert. Apparently, that guy was in the news recently. I don't know if it was good or bad.
He's always in the news, man. Scott Adams.
Is he?
What's he do? What's he doing now?
Well, now he does a podcast 365 days a year and just is like a political commentator now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was just talking about Dilbert, the comic, like noticing the absurd things in corporate life. He'll just, and people found relief in that.
Yeah. It was helpful for me. I mean, it was definitely like cathartic for me. So when I started the page, I was coming off some like serious failures in career. Like, I'd had a lot of successes in a row, and I was like flying high, and then just like body slammed career wise. It was my own, everything was like my own fault, but I was like, dang, man, this really sucks. It's a really tough time for me. So I was like, I got to try to find some joy and humor in this. And that was kind of the outlet that ended up helping. But it's hard. It's a hard balance, because not everything can be funny, especially in the military.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that's interesting to me is, like, it's a meme account. Jeff and I both find you kind of like independently of each other. I actually have no idea that you know who Herbert is. And, I'm following the account. I'm just like, oh, he's making funny jokes about, the Marine Corps. This is cool. And then I see you talking about weightlifting. I'm like, oh, even cooler. But I'm like, that checks out. Like, he's probably an officer. Officers like to lift weights, whatever. And then I just see this like strong theological tract. And, you start posting things. And I thought it was really interesting because, the military, unfortunately, not super religious, right? And definitely not, super like into theology. What does the Bible actually say? What does it mean for my life? Right. It's just like, hey, you're upset. Your wife's mad at you. Go talk to the chaplain. And you have some random chaplain that's like, says some random prayer. Right. And then like you start posting on your account, like these like very deep theological takes. And I'm wondering, and then now I'm listening to you and you're saying, hey, it's an outlet. People reach out. They say, hey, I need help. And so obviously like you care about it, but like, did you start the account thinking like, hey, I also want to talk like religion, so to speak? Or did you like all of a sudden have a platform and realize people were reaching out and being like, hey, I have a means here to reach people for something greater than why a base X is funny? And do you get blowback? Because sometimes you'll do like main page post on, theology or religion or whatever. And I say sometimes like frequently, or at least frequently in the story. So I'm just curious, kind of like your take on that, or what your thoughts were, because I mean, my account, like I'm a Christian, and I definitely, post things that show that, but at the same time, I got stuff to sell. So, I pay attention to what I do. But I'm just curious from your, like, you have nothing to gain out of this. Yeah. Or at least it seems. You probably have things you could gain. I know you like sell shirts and stuff, but I mean, you are doing this.
Who doesn't?
I don't know. I don't know why you're doing this. Right. And so I'm wondering if like just kind of what role that plays in like managing that account.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good questions. I kind of started that on day one, just not really intentionally. Like I'm going to try to convert all these people, but I mean, I'd like to, that'd be ideal. But really the reason for that was like, that's just kind of how I've never really been embarrassed or ashamed of that side of my life. And I've always tried to bring that to other areas of my life because it just kind of permeates my whole life instead of separating those artificially. So that was always a huge part of like my identity in the military. And I had to be careful with that as an officer. Like I'm not going to preach to a bunch of captive audience that can't leave the room on a Friday afternoon. I would hate if someone did that to me. But I did have guys ask a lot because they knew they'd see, if I had a Bible verse written down or something, and that started some good conversations. And so I was never really quiet about that. I didn't force it on my guys, but I was always really open to talk with them. And that turned into like really good debates sometimes too. Like I would tell them, I'm like, at the end of the day, like this is your deal, man. But I'm just going to tell you what I believe. You asked. I mean, don't go report me because you asked. Right. And so I think that's just kind of been natural for me. And so when I started the account, as I was going, I was like, well, I can kind of shift my personal stuff that I've been sharing over to this. I think maybe that just happened because I was on there more, because there was more interaction on that than my personal one.
Yeah.
I mean, I check my personal Instagram like once a month. It's just kids and my wife and me at the beach pretty much. Which is cool. It's just a lot less interaction. And so I'm on the other one a lot more. And, those are the things that I care about the most. So they kind of come out in sharing and posting. But then there's the other side, like I hit on before. I think a lot of guys, especially young dudes living in the barracks, and I learned this in Okinawa, like guys that are far away from home. We had, I'm sure y'all experienced this in some sense, but, suicides every holiday season, being overseas, just super terrible stuff from guys that you had no idea.
Yeah. And
after that, there was always kind of a widespread search for like, how do we deal with this? And I never really saw a lot of good answers being given. I mean, chaplains have a really hard job, and there's a lot of degrees of change between like a good chaplain and a decent chaplain. Like depending on what unit you go to, you might get a super weird dude and you might get like a really solid. I mean, I know chaplains that deadlift 500 pounds and like solid dudes, like theologically solid, like,
if you deadlift 500 pounds, you have good theology, obviously.
Well, that's correct. 100%
in Romans. Yeah.
100% of the time.
Got to help you.
Romans 500 verse 1.
That's correct. And those, you see some chaplains, you're like, dude, you should be a company commander. Like you're legit. And then you see some guys and you're like, you look like you just came from the Boy Scouts and nobody wants to listen to you. Or sorry, the Scouts. It's not the Boy Scouts anymore.
Yeah. Get it right, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I'm anonymous, so I can't get in trouble or arrested. But yeah, so I think that was maybe just my attempt of like trying to tell guys like there's more than just military memes and going to work every day and coming back to the barracks and playing video games and eating pizza. As good as those things may be, there's more to life than just that, and it's borne a lot of fruit. Like I get a lot of on the blowback piece. There has been blowback over the years, but really doesn't. I don't lose any sleep over that. I expected there to be more, honestly. There's a couple guys that are like the frequent guys that they always try to like out me or like dox me. And I'm like, dude, 90% of the people on here that I worked with know exactly who I am. I just don't put it out there because I don't want my employer to get mad at me if I say something they don't like. Or just because there's weirdos out there. But like everyone I worked with in the Marine Corps, like pretty much knows like everything. And so I'm like, you're not doing what you think you're doing, being like, well, he was at this unit this year. Everyone's like, yeah, we know, dude. We know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We got it.
Yeah,
we got it. Like he's like a middle-aged man, like living with his family. Relax.
Relax.
And so like, I think for me now, especially being out, that's probably becoming more important to me because I see kind of this like spiritless, religionless, like faithless age kind of getting stronger. And I think there has been a sort of a reversal of that. But just to wrap that up, yeah, I would just say that for me, that's so much more important than like, oh, this guy, you know, should I go try out and go to the Army and be like, that's all great. That's all good stuff. Your career matters, all that kind of stuff. But you might have 5 interactions with me on my page over the course of a couple of years. And I want those to be meaningful, things that'll help you as a, you know, as a man, as a believer, as a father, husband, whatever, more so than just like a Lance Corporal that laughs at Sodexo Chow Hall memes.
Yeah. Have you interacted with, what's the big Lance Corporal? Terminal Lance? Does he ever interact with you?
No.
Yeah. I don't think he's the same type of believer as you, but I was just curious if he ever interacted.
I think
he's mainstream.
Yeah. I've seen him on Twitter a little bit, and I don't hang out on Twitter much, but I've seen him on there. I don't know that he and I mean, I'd love to talk to the guy. I just don't know that he and I would share a lot of opinions on stuff, but hey,
who knows? I tend to agree. I was just curious because I mean, his is a totally different brand of, I don't even know what you call that.
He was really like, the trailblazer, right? Like he started the whole, he totally is.
Meme actual.
Yeah. Respect on it. And like, so like Marin Crops came back.
Yeah.
Another just, amazingly talented person using his powers for good. But do
you know who that is?
I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, so,
I know he took a couple of years away to like get his personal life figured out. I don't know where he said this, but I heard it, so good for him. I hope he.
Yeah, I got it figured out. I came back pretty strong though.
Nice. Good job, Trey.
Nice. Let's go.
Got that adoption.
I didn't want to say it out.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I didn't want to say
Marin Crops.
Officially doxed.
Yeah. So real quick, and then we'll move on to a couple other things. But 75,000 followers roughly. If you don't follow, go follow LanceCaptainUSMCR. And if you're our listener and you didn't serve, you'll like the account because you might like religious, theological, eschatology. You may be into some of that, or you may be into weightlifting, and it touches on that. So fun account. So check it out. Now I lost my train of thought because I was doing that ad read for Lance Captain USMCR. Oh, 75,000 followers. How many people know who you are? Like just a guesstimate. Like, is it 500?
Probably. Yeah. Like the whole unit, pretty much the entire unit. Well, at least all the officers knew. So a very small amount in terms of your followers. Yeah. Most of my friends in real life would not care. So I just don't tell them. Yeah. Even my wife's like, what on earth does this mean? And I was in for like almost 8 years, and she's been around that whole world. And she's still like, she supports me. She'll throw me a like, but
man, I was in it. And I don't understand some of them too. So
yeah, me too. I made them and I don't understand that. So yeah,
that's better than my wife. I'll watch her like scrolling, sitting on the couch, and like, there goes the Strength Co. And I'm like, are you gonna like that? And she's like, oh, sorry, I didn't even see it. What's going on? You post a cat or something?
Well, it's like when you send her a reel or something, she'll watch it and just completely straight face. You're like, no, it's funny. It's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny. Laugh.
It's devastating.
This is where you laugh. Yeah.
Go ahead, Trey.
I was gonna say, I was scrolling through it today. Do you have any warrant officer memes? To me,
they need to be roasted.
Those are the biggest anomaly.
What are they doing now?
Giving unwarranted advice.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
The warrant officer track is pretty funny. Like, you can roast officers because it's like, oh, you get to be the boss because you went to college. But the warrant officer track, it's like, yesterday I was a sergeant, and now I'm like
the colonel's best friend.
Reporting to a colonel about this specialty. Nothing against sergeants either.
Let me open up this CS gas canister. Once a year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're interesting guys. I used to live next door when I was on Lejeune. I lived next door to a guy. He was from, I won't say his name, but he was from like deep Texas. Awesome guy. And a chief officer. And I'd walk by his garage and I'd see like sparks flying out of the door and I'd hear like saws grinding. And I'm like, this is not like your average home improvement project. Like dude's in there building something. And I'd walk in. He was like a blacksmith in his free time and like super thick Texas accent. And I'd walk in. I'm like, what are you working on? He's like, I'm just building a rifle. I'm like, what do you, I don't know if that's legal. Probably not on Lejeune. Yeah. He'd make like pitchforks. He'd make swords. Like this dude was a straight up welder, blacksmith, forger.
So and, typical warrant
never
officer.
Saw him at work. Yeah. Never saw him at work.
Yeah. Typical warrant officer.
Ton of hobbies. Yeah.
All the warrant officers I knew made engraved plaques. They just, sir, let me know if you need a plaque.
I was the only anomaly in that plaque OIC, baby.
That's right.
I should add, I would see him at like 11 in the morning on a Tuesday. This was not like a weekend. Yeah.
In civvies.
No. Yeah.
So we know you listened to the Andy Herbert episode. Don't know if you've listened to any others, and we're not going to put you on the spot. But we do have a sponsor, BW Tax. And nice. Trey's going to give you a few like tidbits, and then we like to have the guests just like off the cuff go with a little ad read for our sponsors. Okay. So Trey, what do you want to tell the Lance Captain?
So I'll preface this, like sometimes I do this, so the bar is very low. So like any words you string together that have BW Tax in it, like it's already above most of us. So
cool.
BW Tax, Greenville, South Carolina. But if they can do your taxes anywhere, you don't have to be in Greenville, which I did not realize until we started sponsoring them. Big Boston fan. What else? His name's
Citadel. He's a Citadel graduate.
Yeah. Great customer service.
Graduate. Yeah, he's a Citadel graduate from Boston.
So you know he's detail oriented, very locked in.
Yeah, very locked in. Yeah, only the finest folks. You know,
he walks around with his chin down, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's called bracing. Yeah. You wouldn't get it, you Aggie.
Were you called Knobs?
Knobs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just curious. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
When you call, they answer the phone. You talk to real people.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Warm body.
Like if you got 3 kids, like what kind of deductions are there? You know, what kind of, the IRS has just made a maze of tax laws, and they kind of help you through it. And what we like to say during this time of year is it's never too early to start thinking about next year's taxes.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Amen. Yeah. I felt like I could have used a more knowledgeable tax guy this year. So I wish this had happened a month ago.
Yeah. And at the end of your read, the website is bwtaxllc.com. So with that information, just take it from the top. Just give us, 15, 20 seconds for the listeners of why they should call BW.
Yeah, so I like what I'm hearing about BW Tax in Greenville, South Carolina, which is one of the fastest growing cities in the world, I believe.
Amen.
So I'm hoping that as more people go there, they'll see the benefits of using BW Tax to prepare their is it individual tax returns or business?
They could do
as
everything.
Well? Could
do a small business. They could do an S corp, like you name it.
Awesome, that's great. I like being able to call somebody and get them on the phone. I've been dealing with a lot of robo tele people lately, and I do not like that model at all. So yeah, super pumped about BW Tax.
LLC.com. That was pretty good.
LLC.com.
Yeah. Since Andy, we're just going to go ahead and do an official that was just love from you, but Andy made the soundboard this week. So,
oh heavens.
Hey there, listeners. Feel lost in the maze of tax season? Let BW Tax Advisory Group be your guide. They specialize in guiding individuals and small businesses through the complex world of tax and accounting, using proactive financial planning and innovation. Say goodbye to tax season stress. Visit bwtaxllc.com to schedule your consultation today.
That sounds like Tony Soprano reading through like a paper cup on a string.
Yes. All I heard was meatball sub.
So the best thing
the gabagool
about Herbert was we got to this section of the show.
Dude, he was ready.
We haven't had a ton of guests. You're like maybe like guest number 9 or 10. And so we always have to like prep the guest. And so we're like, hey, so we like you to do a tax read. He's like, I got 4. Which one you want first?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, all right. He was prepped.
Man, he's always prepared.
Yeah, that's right.
When you live in such a hostile place like New Jersey, you're just always like kind of
stay ready.
Yeah. Dialed in.
Just like BW Tax.
Yeah.
Like BW Tax is. Yeah. They have that in common.
Jeff, you need anything else from, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you reached out about coming on here, I was like nervous. I'm like, dude, it's like a legit company. Like these guys are like still in the game. I'm going to sound like a total dingus. And then I'm like, and then I was looking through the episodes. I'm like, they had Andy Herbert on.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I breathed
severely disappointed.
No, I breathed a sigh of relief. I said, I can just be myself.
Oh, yeah, these guys are nothing.
They're the reason that this podcast is the OK podcast powered by the Strength Co. And it's not the Strength Co podcast.
It's not the great podcast.
Yeah, this is my relief. Jeff, I think we need one more thing.
There's one more thing. So all the guests, so every episode, and then we open and close with all of us saying, okay.
Like your best gunny.
Get a little soundbite from the guests. So give us your best okay.
With a knife hand.
Are we going to do it at the same time?
No, you're going to do it.
We'll go just you. Yeah. Whenever you're ready. Ready.
Now he's nervous.
Just picture like a real disgruntled 16-year terminal staff sergeant that's been filling in the battery gunny position for 5 years and will never get promoted because he's overweight. And he finds out that he's
5'3".
Yeah,
5'3", 205.
Yeah.
But his buddy's going to hook him up with a BaseX FSR contractor gig when he gets making 6 figures guaranteed. Yeah.
Takes 10 smokes breaks before lunch. Yeah.
How would he say it?
I like this guy. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I like it.
I didn't want to do a Hispanic accent. I'm equal opportunity. So.
We did say staff sergeant.
If that wasn't clear, yeah.
That's good. Well, Lance Captain, thanks for coming on. We got to clean up a lot of things in post, cover your face, keep your identity secret. But if I get this wrong, just fix it after I'm done. But go follow Lance Captain USMCR on Instagram. That's your platform, right?
Nailed it.
Yeah. Go follow the account. We'll try and make some, maybe we'll, PJ, maybe you can get creative and make something that we can cross promote.
Let's do some collabs.
Yeah. Collab, baby. Collab.
I love a good collab.
Yeah. Any last things for all 6 listeners before you log off here?
No. Pleasure talking to you guys, man. I appreciate you guys asking me to come on and talk about a very ridiculous meme page and social media. But
it got deep though.
It got deep. Yeah. I mean, we covered everything.
It happens. It does that quite a bit, but we'll try to keep it light next time. Sorry to go so deep on you guys.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Thanks for sharing how you killed bin Laden and how it is working for SEALs Team 2. And
tell Snowden I said hi.
Yeah.
Good luck at the NSA.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks. They need somebody to rub the oil on them. So
that's right.
If they need tax help,
NSA.
I'll let
the NSA know.
I don't know if the NSA does taxes.
All right, brother.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.
See you on the web.
Man.
Later.
See ya.
All right.
Good dude.
Nice. Good dude. That was great.
Dude.
That was a great talk.
Good dude.
That was good.
Now we can dox him.
Yeah.
I want his address. It's 123.
Yeah. He's probably ordering Strength Co plates right now.
Yeah.
I know your real name.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I like that he thought this is a real company. Oh, you had Andy Herbert? Not a real company. Poor Andy.
Dang.
Got him.
No. Jeff, next slide.
All righty. Do we have a live Bruins update?
They won 2-1. So the series is 3-2. Another one. Let's see.
Is it in Boston next?
6.
Should be.
Yeah. So it'd be Boston and then Florida for game 7. Yeah. So Boston next. So there you go. 2-1. I texted, there's a couple different guys that, we text during the games. And I said, going on a podcast, just text me a W if we win. And, I'm on D&D, but I checked it a few times, and Diana texted me, "This game is insane."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh no!" And then one of the captains from Boston texted me. He just said W, and I said, "Oh, let's go!" So yeah, Bruins win 3-2. Hey, it ain't done. As the Citadel graduates like to say, it ain't done until Shannon Faulkner sings.
Yeah.
Didn't hit, huh? No.
Yeah, no,
that was too niche. Too niche.
Yeah,
Get that laughter in post.
First,
add a laugh track.
Yeah, add a laugh track. First female to go to the Citadel, and she was like morbidly obese, but she had sued the state for women not being allowed to go. So
everyone knew that.
Yeah,
Yep.
She goes in and spends like 8 days in the infirmary and then quits.
Telling very regional specific jokes, inside jokes that we all get.
Hey, I like it. BW sent me that via text today when the Bruins scored the first goal. He said it ain't over till Shannon Faulkner sings.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Jeff. What's next?
Let's see. We've been getting a lot of amateur lifting updates from Trey, but what about a professional parenting update?
Yeah.
I think you wanted to talk about some new items that you're utilizing to access your baby food, diapers, all sorts of stuff like
CS gas.
I'm writing a parenting book because it's called "What's
My
the Fuss?"
First Two Kids. Oh, what's the fuss?
What's the fuss? It's pretty easy. Dude, we were putting together, right? So Abby has her diaper bag that she takes. And then I'm like, I need a dad diaper bag, right?
Yeah. Amen.
So if we're doing split ops, we're both prepared, right?
Yes.
And then I was going through and I was like, oh man, what should I use? So I found this potential sponsor brand called Tactical Baby Gear.
Oh, nice. This is constantly on my suggested feed.
Oh, dude. Well, first of all,
online.
In October, PJ, you got a kid coming?
Not that I'm aware of.
I just like tactical babies.
Instagram knows.
I was about to say I'm gonna send this. What is gonna be a surprise? I was gonna send that to Grant in October as his
there you go,
as his gift. But
I won't tell him.
And I'm like, and then so it has what's the webbing? What am I thinking of? Molly has Molly webbing on it, right? And then I'm like, so I have a bunch of SIF gear that fell off a truck that I had in my closet. And I'm like, dude, I was just like tacking on SIF gear, like on all this Molly webbing. And so it looks like I'm going to the field with this baby. And I'm like, dude, SIF gear actually makes better like baby gear than actual military gear, I think.
So
I'm like,
real quick, let me clean this up for PJ. So in the Bitcoin world, you lost your crypto in a boating accident.
Yes.
In the military world, you found SIF gear, meaning it belongs to the government, that fell off a truck.
Yeah.
Because he didn't not turn it in. He found it.
He cleaned it, turned it in,
what he said.
And properly discharged from
this is still dirty.
Yeah.
I still remember that conversation.
Man. It happens.
I was like, what if I just bill me? Like, I just want to go home. Just bill me. So that's going to be $19. I'm like, okay.
So what's going on the outside of this pack? Is it like baby bottles?
So the pouches. So the pouches that you would put on like your day pack that you would just like keep all your like snacks in.
The sustainment pouch.
The sustainment pouch. So I have some sustainment pouches in diapers fit really well in there. I got formula dispenser. I got
Pogie bait, also known as Broggi bait.
Yep, Broggi bait.
Yep.
But it's anything you can think. Pacifiers, just all over the place. Yeah. So long story short, killing this parenting game. Be on the lookout for my book, What's the Fuss? Parentheses, parenting's pretty easy.
When the drop-in? When can we expect?
I'm almost done with it. It's a really short book.
It's on pre-order, link in bio.
You want me to write the forward in October?
Yeah, write the forward in October.
Strength Co Publishing.
Chapter 1. Hey, if they're wet, change them. If they're hungry, feed them.
Yeah.
Wow.
If they're asleep, let them sleep.
If they're crying, hold them.
If they're crying, hold them.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
So, real question though, has it been 3 weeks into fatherhood?
Yeah.
Have you lifted?
No.
No. Okay, I was just curious. Right. No guilt. Just was
not
legitimately
yet. Yeah,
curious.
whenever our guest was talking about it, I was like, yeah, just do it. I was like, oh man, he's speaking right into my soul right now.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right. What's our
I'll
next
get into
slide?
it, man. Yeah, I just kind of started going back to doing the day job officially this week. So going out and seeing clients. So trying to get in the swing of things.
Yeah. Figuring out how it all fits in together. Yeah.
You'll
be back to lifting. You'll be back to lifting.
What's the fuss?
Oh, yeah. You'll come back and just deadlift 500 for 5. Like, oh.
Yeah. I'll be like,
jump back in.
Cool.
We want to hear about the Ragnar race.
Oh, dude. It was a good time. So
did you wear your wig?
Yeah. So
No, it wasn't a drag queen race. It was a Ragnar race.
Wow.
Oh, thanks for the
well, no, I still wore the wig, Trey. Like, I know you like it.
It was an all girls team, right? No.
Well, it was supposed to be, but they had some folks drop out, and so then they opened it up to a mixed team. So Kaylee was scheduled to be a part of the team, and so I don't know, this was maybe like a month or two ago. She was like, "Oh, hey, do you want to go do this?" So you have a team of 8 people. It was down just outside Zion National Park. Mm-hmm. There's 3 different like running loops. There's like 2 of them were like 4 miles long, and then there's like a 7-mile long one. And so like runner 1 will start on the green loop. When they get back, runner 2 goes out on the yellow loop. When they get back, runner 3 goes out on the red loop, and so on, until everybody on the team has run all 3 loops. Like that's when you're finished. So you kind of just keep playing tag, next person up heads out on the relay. So like, I think I was runner number 8. So I was the last person to go. So I think I did mine in like my first one on like Friday afternoon. And then at like 3:30 in the morning, did my second one. And then like, I don't know, late morning, did the third one. But
so
weather was all over the place.
Did you run total?
So 15.
15. Okay.
Oof.
So 3 5-mile stints.
So it was like a 4 mile, and then the last one was a 7.
Okay.
So, it was fun though. Like the weather was all over the place. Rained a bunch, got really cold, and then the sun would come out and it would get really hot. But it was super fun. We were camping like in between all that. So you're just like, you get back from a run, you just eat a bunch and kind of like lay down and hang out, and then all right, there's 2 people ahead of me. All right, I better start getting up and get changed and start to kind of get ready. So it's fun. What was it? Because we covered it a little bit. I don't know, on the middle 4-mile one, what was your average mile time? What's the terrain like? Is it like uphill? Because that changes things. So I think the green loop, so over 4 miles, I think had like 300 feet of elevation gain, which is like nothing. Oh, and then the middle one had 600 feet. I mean, spread out over 3 miles, that's not very much. Like the middle one had like 600, and then the 7-mile one had like 1,000 feet of vert. And a lot of it was like, for him was like the beginning. Like you would go you would get all the uphill in the beginning, and then you would kind of coast downhill on the last one. But the middle one I did was the green loop, so like technically the easiest. But everyone hated that one because like the footing was really like all rocky and like technical, and you couldn't really like get in a good pace. I think I did it in like 50 minutes.
Okay.
So I did that one in like 50 minutes. I did the yellow loop in like 42 minutes. And then the 7-mile one took me like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Like almost exactly.
So it's not your normal running. It's like a little bit of off-road kind of deal.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. That's still like what? 12 minutes for that 4-mile one?
No, less. Yeah. Like 10 and a half, 10 and some change.
You said 50 minutes for 4 miles, right?
Yeah.
Don't do math.
Yeah. So that one's probably like 12-ish.
11.
Yeah. That's pretty good, man.
And then 42 was like 10, like the yellow loop, I think I did in like 10-ish minute miles or something like that. But it was a good time.
Did you train for it? Or did you just like decide, hey, I'll just do this?
Jeff stays trained.
I mean, I usually like do some sort of running like 3-ish times a week.
Okay.
So you didn't David Goggins it?
No, I didn't.
You got anything to say to
Stay hard,
Calhoun?
Hey, who's going to carry the boats? That's what I want to know.
Who's going to do it, man?
Calhoun. Who? Like
Calhoun will carry it.
Have we?
Calhoun will carry the boat.
How's Calhoun doing with the kitten? Is
pretty good. He's got
stabilized.
Yeah, so they get along pretty good. The kitten thinks that his tail is a toy, and Calhoun does not like that. And yeah, also I found out that Calhoun is a groomer, so that was interesting because he just grooms the cat all the time. But no, he's doing good. Yeah, they're getting along pretty well. I don't know how you. I think you are blessed, Trey, by getting two at once. And I know I'm not trying to say what's the fuss. And take away from your book, but like the amount of cat hair, kitty litter, and vacuuming and like annoying wake ups from two cats to one cat is not on a 1-to-1 ratio. Like it's not like, oh, it doubled. It's like exponential. So yeah, there's a lot of.
I would say humans. Like human babies have less cat hair. You don't have to vacuum as much. You know what I mean?
That is true.
It's like a little bit. It's a little bit, but like not a lot.
I didn't know that.
You could tack on a Dyson to the side.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of your stroller.
Of his military pack. There's a molly strap for the Dyson.
Yeah.
What else we got, Jeff?
Do we want to dive into this college football, like or the SEC kind of like team analysis?
I feel like we can cover.
What are we feeling?
What do you feel?
I mean, I feel like Trey, you should just read that post. Did you write that post in Slack?
Yeah,
dude, I read that and I was like, man,
wow,
like this guy knows more about South Carolina football than I do.
Nah, that's not true.
But like, I have nothing to contribite. Trey, just read that.
I think you should just kick us off. This can be week one. How many? What are we going to count down to? 16 weeks or something?
It's rough. I think I was doing the math in my head. I think it's roughly close to 16 weeks. We might have to fit like Vanderbilt and
we can squeeze a couple together.
Missouri in the same week, but
so I think we should. You start us out this week, and then we'll end the SEC countdown with Stephen Garcia as a guest. He's already committed to coming on the week before college football season starts. So
love that.
Yeah, I mean, Trey, tell us what you're thinking.
All right, so we're picking an SEC team. This is actually PJ's idea. Pick an SEC team each week, kind of lightly dive into what we think they're going to be like this year, and then maybe take a look at their schedule and try to pick like wins and losses, which South Carolina. We're going to start with South Carolina this week, the Fighting Chickens.
Amen.
So, man, first off, I would say Shane Beamer, this is a make or break year. Do you think he's on the hot seat this year? You might know, Grant. Or do you think
I don't think
does poorly this year?
I think if he does poorly this year, he's in the hot seat. I'll tell you as a fan for pulling for a school that has never won anything besides the SEC East. But I think that I have a lot of sympathy for the portal changed everything. And it's going to like take a few years to like stabilize the portal.
To figure it out.
Yeah. So I don't think he's on the hot seat this year. Like, I don't think if we go out and go 5-7, I don't think he's getting fired. I think if we go out and we go 5-7 next year, personally, that's what I think. I could be wrong. Gamecock fans can tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think he's on it yet. But yeah.
Yeah. Usually it's indicative of like, if they had some coordinator changes, that means he's kind of like starting to be on the hot seat. I think if he doesn't go to the bowl this year, I think 6 wins, he's going to be on the hot seat. So make or break year for Shane Beamer. Looking at their offense though, what I say, I think big question mark for me, South Carolina, is their offensive line.
Sean Elliott's back.
Sometimes the offensive line looked all right last year, and then other times it was just like a Swiss cheese. Like did not look great.
I thought it was Swiss cheese all year. And to our future guest, Stephen Garcia, he would just roast all the Gamecock fans saying it was Swiss cheese and point out Rattler's mistakes. And in the guy's defense, he coaches quarterbacks 7 days a week. Like that's what he does.
True.
So he'd be like, look at this, did this wrong, did this wrong, did this wrong. But I tend to agree with you that the O-line was poor. We brought Sean Elliott back. Mm-hmm. Sean Elliott was during the Spurrier era and before. I like him just because he's like high energy. He's big on getting guys in the weight room. And yeah, so he's back this year. That's a change. He wasn't here last year. He's here now. So yeah. I think that's a good thing. It's it's funny to talk about it in college football, although there's the portal, but like we're recruiting well on offensive line, but like that pays dividends 2 years from now.
True. Yeah. It takes some time to sync up. Yeah. So I'm excited to see, I watched some clips on the quarterback this year. What was his name?
Now I'm forgetting. He's from,
I put it in that chat.
I'm pulling it up. Keep talking.
So I'm excited to see him because like his measurables look really good. In the few clips I saw him play, man, that kid has an arm, so he could be good. And you match him with the transfer Rocket Sanders that came from Arkansas. I think if the offensive line can put it together, I think the offense should be pretty good. Did you find his name?
Lenora Sellers.
That's it. Yep. I think he
went
could
to Florence, South Florence High School, which is where I think my grandmother went. It's right by her house there. And they're like good 5A football. So, so I think it could be good.
Wide receivers don't know that much about. So offense, like I said, I think it's going to be improved, but like I said, a lot of it depends on offensive line. Defense, I know y'all got that big 5-star recruit defensive lineman, like edge rusher. Should be Stewart. Yeah, that should be a big help. I'll be curious how they end up playing him. If he's like a stand-up, like usually a freshman coming in can rush the passer really well, but what they struggle with in the SEC is like learn how to stop the run. So if you can figure that out, then I think he'll be really good. The safeties, y'all are loaded. I think y'all have some guys coming back. Cornerback should be pretty good, and then linebacker play. So really, I think along the trenches is y'all's big question mark. So
let's just do a little game here. It'll be Trey and Grant. Old Dominion, South Carolina. Who wins?
Win. South Carolina.
Yeah, W. South Carolina, Kentucky.
I think
Kentucky.
I think y'all could win that.
Okay. LSU, South Carolina.
LSU lost a lot, and they're at South Carolina. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go. Y'all are gonna lose either Kentucky or LSU, but pull a win out of one of those.
So 2-1. Akron, W.
Win. So 3-1.
Ole Miss.
Loss.
3-2. Alabama.
I think a loss, but they're not as good as people think. Yeah.
Oklahoma.
At Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I'll go with the loss on that.
Okay, I think win. So you're 3-4. I'm 4-3. A&M.
At A&M or out South Carolina?
South Carolina.
I say you split between OU and A&M, so I'll go 4-4.
Okay, I think we lose there. So 4-4. Vanderbilt, we both think W.
Win, yeah.
5-4. Missouri.
I think Missouri's still going to be good.
Yep, I do too. I think 5-5. Wofford, we both think win.
6-5.
Clemson.
Loss. 6-6. I say 6-6.
I think 7-5.
You think 7-5?
I think 7-5. I'm not necessarily saying we're going to beat Clemson, but I think it's a tough schedule. You know what stinks is my nephew's a freshman at Georgia this year, and we always play them like second or third game of the season, and we're not playing them for like 3 years with the new SEC alignment.
It's weird. Are you complaining? About that?
I mean, yeah, I am. I mean, I'm a fan of the tough schedule. Like, hey, you want to be in the SEC?
You want to see, you want to see you play good games. Yeah,
you want to see like good teams.
Yeah,
you want to see like one Georgia and 10 Wofford.
Yeah, better. Yeah. So anyway, all right, we're at an hour and 40 minutes. We should probably wrap up. But Jordy, PJ, give us a quick Tyson, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whatever Paul boys. We want to make sure that you feel involved in the sports talk.
Yeah, now this is my time.
Yeah,
I'll just say this: they had a press conference the other day, and there was a lot of people saying controversial things about this conference. So they did the whole, stare down. Right. They did the talk. They did the stare down. They did the whole, they're sitting at the table answering questions and all this. And, I'll just say this. We saw a very friendly and cuddly Mike Tyson.
It's all part of the game.
And I'm like, and everybody was like, oh, it's already scripted. Like they just know they're getting the bag. Like it's not going to be a real fight. But I still stand by that. That's still Mike Tyson. When he hears the bell ring, I think that animal's going to be released inside of him.
He hears the bell ring. He rings a bell.
Ooh. Yeah. I think
we'll see. I think they're going for the bag.
They're definitely going for the bag, which, whatever. Respect the game.
Good on them.
Good on them, right?
Grift or be grifted.
Grift. That's what they say. Grift or be grifted. But it's I'm still going. I'm going Tyson. I'm going to go out there and say Tyson gets the win.
All right. So the Gamecocks are 7-5 per Grant. Trey says 6-6. You got to take Jeff.
I just hope everyone has fun.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Everyone has a great time. Tyson wins. According to PJ, I got to do a little research before I make a hot take on that.
He looks good for 58, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen I'm surprised there aren't pictures everywhere from the stare down stuff. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I have not seen the stare down. I
haven't seen it pop up. I figured that would have been
I gotta figure out who Jake Paul is.
Yeah, I still don't have that. That's why we have PJ.
Logan Paul's brother.
Yeah, who's Logan? Yeah, there's a stare down. Brother. Wow, he's bigger than him.
Yeah.
Jake's
a big boy.
All right.
No.
Still a beast, though.
I think before we log off, which slider do I need to turn up here? Yeah, we need to do one more for our sponsors. I don't remember what's 1, 2, and 3, but I'm gonna do. We did 2 at once.
I think it's over. I think they have to play out.
They have to play out. So before we played our last ad read, I played 2 at once. Which could have been
double the ads.
Could be a thing, yeah.
Double the ads.
Before we do that, Trey, tell people where to find us.
Hey, find us at www.theokpodcast.com. You can find all of our links to True Social, LinkedIn, MySpace, the usuals. You can find I don't know. That's it. What I miss. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. If you want to join the Slack channel, we didn't get the questions this week, but we'll get them to them next week. You can join the Slack channel. We'll put the little buy button there in the show notes. Use the code OK, saves $10. 5 new members last week. Use the code OK. So come on in and join the podcast. Thanks for listening. And with that, we'll give one shout out to our sponsors.
This for you, BW.
Absolutely. BW Tax. I love them. They're based out of South Carolina, but they can do taxes for you anywhere. They have CPAs. They have the team that you need to cut through all the red tape. They did Trey's taxes.
Got them in and got them out.
We got to mention that whenever you're calling them, don't think you're going to be talking to some chat GPT, some bot. You're not going to be put on hold for 25 minutes and then told we're going to call you back and then end up at church when they finally do and not be able to answer because you're in communion with the people that are around you. And how could you possibly stop? When you make the call, they're going to answer. BW Tax LLC, from South Carolina to everywhere.
That's such a good tagline.
I love Jim
everywhere. And
I love Andy and I love Tanner. But I love that Matios calls his accountant 25 minutes before church.
He wants to make sure he has enough money to tithe. That's what he's doing.
Hold on. Let me check my taxes real quick.
Did I get my return yet?
I got to give 10% to the Lord.
Oh, we got to go.
Right. Yeah, we got to go. Thanks for listening to episode 020 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. Brought to you every Friday at 9 a.m. Grant time. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Adios.